Okay, so let us begin. Bye bye C matrix. Um, so right now, when we go into our font, I don't even know if the font code's the right place to look here. Let's go into here. So get GPU glyph index. To do, will perform lookup in LRU cache. So first things first, what's an LRU cache? Least recently used. So when we go to look up glyphs, we can only store so many glyphs in the GPU at a time. We'll select a number in a second here. And so we need to keep track of which ones are in the GPU, and we need to keep track of which one is the last one that was used, because if it was the last one that's used, we can just replace it with a new one, with little risk of it, needing to be, or little performance hit from doing such a thing. Now, there's actually two kind of things here that we probably should be caching. So first of all, these are the ones that are in the GPU. This depth index will give you like a GPU index. But then we also have this like size parameters and stuff of the currently like the rendered glyph that's stored on the CPU. Now, I was thinking about this like quite a bit, and I'm not sure. Probably we're not going to store the same number of glyphs on the GPU that we're going to store on the CPU. So I don't want to like take a performance hit from going through free type and font coughing and whatever other garbage library we have to use to render glyphs. Hopefully we can remove that at some point, but for now that's what we're doing. So we probably want to maintain a cache of pre-rendered glyphs on the CPU, and we also want to have the GPU texture glyph. And what I'm thinking is that probably these can be two separate LRU caches. So yeah, so the one on the CPU is just going to be like the glyph that was most recently. Oh no, actually, huh? Maybe they don't need to be two separate ones. So basically, the way that would work is that the glyphs on the CPU, you're gonna have to touch those when you go to get like this GPU glyph index, because you're gonna need to get like the size. So that means that the ones that are currently on the GPU are also at the front of the CPU glyph cache, um, which means that we could do something like maybe a little different. Um, there's also like multiple ways of just implementing this. So let me think about how we want to do that. So traditionally, like in LRU, the easiest way to think of it is like as a doubly linked list, which really we're not big fans of doubly linked lists because they're not very performant. But if that doubly linked list is actually just like indexes into like a table, it might not be so bad. So yeah, let me think about that. So what we want to do is basically have, let's go into our font code. So this function render should be renamed to render glyph. I don't know why it's called render. It's a bit unclear. Let's go fix wherever that becomes a bug. Okay, so that's fine. All right, so what we want to do is we're going to want to change this. This font atlas, maybe this font atlas should just contain the table of the CPU glyph cache. Now, I'm kind of thinking that I want to have it just be a combined thing. So this CPU side glyph cache can be like really big. Well, by really big I mean like maybe it'll be like 4,000 characters or something, or maybe that's too many. Like 2,000 characters, 2048 is like reasonable. And then the GPU one would be like maybe 256. And what we could say here is that if in get GPU glyph index, what am I doing? OpenGL, not that, vtgl.c. So, okay, so in get GPU glyph index, what we're going to do is we're going to do this, okay, so we're going to do, now render glyph, what is render glyph going to return to us? Right now it's just returning like a raw bitmap buffer, which we can then use to upload to the GPU, which we do in like the update font textures. But we're gonna get rid of that, I think. So probably we still want that to be happening though. We just also need to get like the table index. Well, no, so if we are keeping a copy, a CPU side copy of the rendered glyphs, which we're going to do because if we want to support colored glyphs, we have to like reorganize the. If we want to easily support colored glyphs like emoji, we have to reorganize the way FreeType's giving us these grayscale glyphs. So yeah, really what we want to have is that render glyph is going to return an index. Let's call it glyph index. And we're going to call render glyph. We need to pass in the font atlas. Actually, this is going to complicate things a little bit here. So how can I do this in the meantime to make this not too complicated here? So yeah, let's say, let me think here. Let me just do some quick calculations. So let's say we have a maximum font size of 128. So 128 by 128 times 4 bytes per pixel times 2048 characters that we're going to keep. That's going to be, what's that, like, that's like a lot, hey, like 130 megabytes that we'd be allocating up front. That's like a lot. I don't know if I want to make it that big, to be honest. Seems like a little unnecessary. Maybe just like 1,000 or even. I'm just like worried about those stupid font libraries being like some garbage. They are definitely some garbage code. um, so like half of this would be like 64 megabytes. Half of that would be like 32 megabytes. Even 134 megabytes isn't like that crazy. It's just that like if you have a bunch of these instances open, which you probably would, that's gonna like add up quickly. So like right now we're like maintaining 16 megabyte um, of scrollback buffer. So having like something that's even bigger than that just to store like a bunch of pre-rendered glyphs seems kind of silly. Let's say for now that we're actually not going to do this. We're going to store the same number on the CPU and the GPU, and then that would like simplify some of this code a little bit. And we'll see if that starts becoming like a performance issue. We'll add like some queries and stuff. So let's say we do 256. So that's only like 16 megabytes of well, if we're just gonna store the same number on the CPU and the GPU, we don't actually need to store it on the CPU at all. We can um just store it on the GPU. Wait, if that's only like 16 megabytes, why don't we just make this bigger? Right, like 30 megabytes. 32 megabytes on the GPU is like nothing. And the reason why I'm just considering making this bigger is because our push buffer rendering, which I kind of would like to move around a little bit here, but push buffer capacity. So the way we render is we push every cell into like this push buffer and then we bulk draw it with like a single draw call. If you make this bigger, you're just gonna result in like fewer draw calls, which is just in general gonna be better. Now there is like quite a lot of this push buffer is like gonna be quite big. So let's actually just do a calculation here of how much this is. So this is like 2 floats. So 2 times 4 times 5, 12. That's like 4K. So 4K, 4K, 8K, 12K, 16K, 20K. So that's like not bad. 20 kilobytes for this. Yeah, who cares? We can make this like 512, I think. That would be better. And the reason why I want this to just be like the same size as the number of glyphs on the GPU is because that guarantees that when you fill up this push buffer, you're never gonna like replace a glyph that's needed for this single push call. So let's actually update this note here. This must match the number used in the shaders and the number of glyphs in the glyph cache. In the GPU glyph cache, let's call it, because we might change that later. Let's get rid of this. It's not needed. Let's do this. Let's actually split this here. Oops. In this way, or by doing this, we ensure that a single, we can ensure that filling a single push buffer will not evict a glyph texture from the GPU. We're gonna do that. Shouldn't make too much of a difference. That's everything here. Well, besides the fact that that is gonna, we need to reopen that. Oh, whoa, what happened there? Um, why is that just, what have we done? Why did that kill everything? Texture glyph count. I have a feeling we're doing something like really stupid and like calling that over and over again. Um, because yeah, let me just. We already did like the 128 by 128 by 4 by 512 is not very big. It's only 33 megabytes. Um, so what did I break here? That should not have caused that to happen. I'll look into that after. Let's just leave that at 256 for now. Render push buffer or push buffer cap. I don't know why that would cause that to just happen, but it did. So I'll fix that I'll fix that later. I want to get like too lost in the weeds right now. Um, so in any case, oh, I do actually know because I didn't update the shaders. So that would just glitch everything. I don't know why it like lagged so much, but actually I have a rough idea of why it lagged so much. Let's open star.glsl. 512, 512. These can be updated before you change the CPU side code. Okay, so that's fine. And then we're gonna go back into the tilde.h and we're gonna try that again. There's like no reason, this thing gets like reallocated from the arena on every frame, so there's like no reason why this should like cause a crash or anything. How are we doing? Not really sure why that like, probably because I didn't need to resize the font. That probably would have done it. But in any case, we're gonna do that. Um, that's fine. So let's go back to doing this. So what we want to do here is I want to make this like somewhat easy to migrate. So let's let me think. So init font is going to need to get updated at some point here, but let's see here. So we have render glyph. So what we want to do here is we want to include some sort of table in the font atlas, which is going to be like maintaining the hash table. Now, how should that just be done here? Font atlas. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to, this is also just going to be statically allocated, to be honest. I don't see a reason not to do that. Now, what we want to do, take a look at what this glyph thing is right now. All this glyph is like a, okay, let's modify this glyph here a little bit. What we want to do is have a S8 rendered. Actually, I don't want to do that. Yeah, let's do this. Well, okay, I need to fix the, so we're passing like glyphs by value in a few places, I think. So let's actually fix all that first, because this is going to be a disaster if I do that second. So here is fine. Actually, no, this is not fine. Okay, we need to rethink this first. We don't want to like stack allocate some glyph that gets rendered into. Doesn't make any sense. Probably gonna break some stuff here. Maybe we shouldn't be using the live editing for now. It's gonna like crash, but okay, so what we want to do is here in render glyph, we're gonna change some stuff here. So let's do this in steps. So first of all, let's change these. Let's start doing the rearranging for these. Start doing like the pixel rearranging and storing on the CPU side. So what I actually think I want to do instead is do this. We're gonna have a different, we're gonna leave the glyph like that for now, and I might compress it after, but this might be temporary, it might not. We're gonna have a different type here called a hash glyph. And this cached glyph is gonna be, it's gonna have like the glyph in it. And it's also gonna have a U32 pointer, a U32 data, which is gonna be this is actually a problem because that's a float. This is probably going to break something because of where it's being used, but we do that. This GPU glyph, there's like a glyph cache somewhere. Yeah, so I don't know about this. Probably this isn't going to stay here anymore because, yeah, we're not going to leave this here anymore. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to still have the glyph texture. In our font atlas, we're going to have a hashed glyph. This is going to make this like gigantic. How do I want to do this? This might come out of like the arena at startup. Oh, sorry, I already forgot what I was doing. I don't know why I did this. We're storing this cached glyph stuff on the GPU. We're not storing it here. So this whole idea was dumb. We're not storing that here. It's only getting stored on the GPU. Okay. I don't know what my brain's doing. So let's go to update render. Update font textures. We're gonna get rid of this function. We're gonna say we need to maintain so we need to know actually no, never mind. They're all like uploaded on the GPU, so that's gonna be fine. But this here, this update font textures thing needs to not be here, basically. This update font metrics is gonna have to get moved somehow, and then this update font textures is not gonna be what we're calling. So when we do a get GPU glyph index, we're gonna call a different function that's gonna be something along the lines of so it's gonna be like render glyph, but what we need to do is if we get back like a pointer, right, okay. Yeah, so what we want to do is we're gonna have if data, we're gonna upload it. And we're gonna have gonna be U32 pointer data. We're gonna have render glyph. He's gonna return a U32 pointer now. render glyph, it needs to take a font atlas, so we're gonna need to have a terminal here. Oops. We're gonna have the code point, we're gonna have an out glyph. This out glyph is the size parameter, because we need to know what this size is. So this part's gonna be the same. We're gonna do T to FA. And then we're gonna do, probably we also need the arena in case we need to render this. But we have like arena for frame now, so we can actually do that. Actually, no, we're gonna don't like storing, like I want to like store like a cache, a static memory on the stack. That's kind of dumb. Yeah, we're not gonna do that. We'll pass the arena in. Not here. In here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, we've rendered a glyph. So it's gonna be the first step. Let's reorganize the. Let's get a U32 pointer. RGBA bitmap. And that's going to be an arena. That's going to be an alloc out of the arena of U32. Max font size. Max font size. We're going to get that out of here. Then what we're going to do is say for what's the size here? So when we do like update font textures, so it's this glyph size. Bitmap size is going to be equal to g to size dot h times g to size dot height. Not mistaken here. Oops, dot width times height. And then we're gonna oh, this is like annoying though, because the stride, we need to do this with we need to do this as like a, or do we? I don't think we do. Never mind. Oh, that's not right. We don't have to do like a strided. A strided dealio here, because, or do we? No, we shouldn't need to. Like that's not how this one works, right? No, we do. That is how this one works. The reason, yeah, the way this one just works is by doing that strided thing. So like when you set this text image, it knows that the image is like max font size by max font size, but then you do like this sub image for that layer, and it's gonna do the it's going to keep it in this order. So we have to do like a strided thing here. I have to repack this. This is also why it's going to be cached, but so what we're going to do is say that RGBA bitmap of I times this is wrong. Let's do height width here. Yeah, I times max font size plus J So the packed pixel is going to be equal to actually, we can just do this way. We can do like a color pixel dot A equals GS to bitmap bitmap dot buffer if we want this to be this isn't like organized the right way though. I don't think this is packed how it should be packed. We'll find out if this gives us the wrong value and we can't see anything. Okay, so dot A is going to equal GS to bitmap buffer to do handle colored glyphs okay. So we're going to do I times G to size dot width plus J pixel dot RGBA. So that's going to give us our packed data. And return that. And then this is going to be like super slow now. That's okay, because we're going to fix this in a second. We are going to need to like have a table so we can invalidate stuff, but we'll do that in a second here. Open VTGL, render glyph. It's now going to take a U32, and this is going to be I believe that can go there. Yeah. Let me see some docs for the GL. GL text sub image 3D. It might be like BGRA, but we'll see. Anyways, it's RGBA. That's fine for this. So theoretically, once we fix the other parts and I've fixed the fragment shader, so this is going to need to actually, let's try building this first. There's gonna be like some bugs probably. What happened there? Max font size. Max font size. P to arena for frame. Just close that for now. Right. Okay, I see what's going on here. We definitely still need this glyph cache because we need to know how many things there are. Let me just also, before I forget, it's gonna be really annoying to debug in a second here. Push cell. Yeah, this. Needs to be F32 casted. Okay, so yeah, so we need this glyph cache, and the glyph cache actually needs to contain a couple things. It needs to contain we need to like be able to indicate that there's like invalid. So really though, what we could do is just make it like we could just make it a yeah, okay, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go back to util.h here. We're gonna go to GL context. Let's try to break. Let me actually. So okay, let me just check here. That's a half-typed junk. That would explain some of those bugs. So this is gonna still have a glyph cache. The glyph cache len is not gonna be. Okay, yeah, actually, yeah, we can do this. We can say Glyph, this Glyph cache. Glyph cache len. Now, what I'm thinking is that yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have get GPU glyph index. It's gonna call render glyph. This is going to request the glyph index from render glyph. This glyph cache probably doesn't need to be here though. It can be left in the font atlas. Why was it not in the font atlas to begin with, honestly? That would make more sense. Hey Reggie, I'm doing well. Terminal emulator is working like pretty great lately. Basically we're just using it for everything now. So today we're just going to implement the glyph cache so that we can actually render what's it called? Non-ASCII glyphs. How are you? This one is working good. So okay, so we're gonna do that. Put that there. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna have this render glyph arena for frame out glyph and depth index. So if this passes us back data, we're going to upload it at the depth index it just gave us. And then we're going to return that depth index. So in update font textures where we're doing this, this like erases the whole thing. We're not going to bother with that. At the depth index, RGBA undefined byte data. Okay, so that's looking good. Yeah, that should be fine. We might need to like update the subimage, the whole size of the subimage, like just clear it completely. I might actually just be smarter, do two GL depth things. We'll check if that's necessary later. So instead what we're going to do here is we're going to do max font size, and we're going to pass in a null for the data. Just to clear the whole thing in case there's some necessary reason to do so. We don't need that line anymore. We're going to do this, then we're going to do render glyph is going to get modified now. Out glyph. This is like a dumb order. Code point, out glyph, out index. Out glyph 2. Okay. So that should be going good. Okay, so next. Next, we have to make this do the lookup in its glyph cache. We need some way of indicating when it's invalid. So we do that first. So we're gonna do we're gonna do this silly thing that we were doing before, which is measure text being used. I'm just gonna if zero this part out for now, because I don't want to fix this right now. I think measure text is actually being used anywhere at the moment, so this won't break anything. Okay, so we're gonna do this goofy thing where we subtract for now until we're gonna do the same thing here where we're gonna fix this in a second. We're just gonna assert that the code point is between these two things. And then we're gonna return, we're gonna do glyph cache, dot size dot, we're gonna abuse the size a little bit here. So let's see what this size is. It's probably not signed, but it could be signed. Let's make it signed. Okay, let's not mess with that yet. We'll do that in a second. Let's just we'll just do this. That h is less than or equal to max font size. Otherwise, we'll just set it to big number. If it's less than or equal to that, this is how we're going to indicate if it's valid. Out glyph equals this. And we're going to return a null. And we have to also set the out index. So that one should fix this path. Save font textures is going to need to do something different. Yeah, so otherwise we're going to do... Okay, so this... Actually, we can just do this. We can just do greater than 0, because if the size is 0, then obviously it's not... And we're going to use the width for that purpose. If the width is 0, then it's invalid. Okay. First thing we need to fix is this update font metrics, because we need to make sure this actually updates the GPU, which is kind of going to make this a little bit of a hassle. Well, okay, what we can do is update font metrics. Where are we calling this? Okay, so here, 120, when we call this, we don't actually need to know that before we just do this. We can do this after we update the font textures. Now, except we're not going to be doing update font textures anymore here, because it's going to get weird if we do that. No, okay. So what we'll do is we'll actually, if we call this, we'll just make sure we upload the data. So we'll do basically what we're doing here. We're gonna do this same thing. We're gonna do for now, just because we don't want this to break yet. First things first, we actually need to invalidate the whole cache. So to do that, we need to do something. Let's write this function quickly. Font cache, font atlas, FA. Oops. So for U32 I equals 0, I less than FA to glyph hash lang I plus plus. Probably gonna keep a sentinel value, but we'll think about that in a second here. We're just gonna do this, and we're just gonna do FA to glyph cache I dot size. You know what we could do is we could just call mem clear. Um, 0, not space, 0, and the size is going to be size of glyph, size of FA to glyph cache, glyph cache times FA to glyph cache length. We'll do that. And that's going to let us just use that 0 as invalid. Yeah, I'm not done typing this yet. Let's go. So invalidate glyph cache, we're going to do that. And font cache, or whatever. We're going to do that. Then we're going to go into here. We're going to say for I equals space, I less than equal to squiggly, I plus plus. Not doing that. We're just doing this. Glyph G we're gonna do this. Then we're gonna go ahead and call update font metrics. So now if we go here and we do update font metrics, this should all just still be the same thing. update font textures. I think I need to change this around here. We didn't pass in the glyph that we're just rendering. Okay, so and G unused we're gonna do that. Of course, this is the same thing. Oh, glyph. (111). Oops. 111. So we have here, it's going to be t to fa dot glyph cache. Delete that. We're going to do this. For now, that's looking good. Get us through most of this file. Oops. Right, we need to do that. Okay, so then, yeah, we didn't do that right. So get GPU glyph index, code point. Out glyph. Out glyph. Do that. Draw text. If zeroed out. It's gonna fix this after. I'm too lazy to fix that right now. Oh, that caused a nice crashy crash. That is, oops, STV or VT this not liking that its terminal was deleted. Feel that. Okay, so let's just check where that's sig faulting, because I probably did something stupid. Hello? Why did that give just complete garbage? What? Let's just fix wherever the bugs were first, I guess. Good show, good diff. So, okay, so Yeah, I don't know why that gave like complete garbage. I don't know what happened there. Right, we need to know what the size was before we just went to the thing. Okay, that's a problem. Wait, actually, I don't know why that crashed then because or the size was already known before then. So resize. Yeah, we need to know what the cell size is before this. So um, resize is called when. Update font textures is called when. Update uniforms. This is like getting called too many times to be honest, but we'll fix that in a second. I don't know why that's even there to be honest, but I think that's the only place where that's getting called. And I think the rest of this stuff is not needed to resize the thing, so we're gonna move this around to after this. So there's still some bugs here where, yeah. So, okay. Okay, it's a little annoying, but that's okay. Um, the GPU glyph index, we need the arena and we need the font atlas pointer. So maybe we don't want to pass this as a term. I don't know. I like this not having to take this, but um, let's actually change this. Is GL even used in here for anything else? Probably. Oh yeah, it's used for this. Okay, let's change this a little bit. Let us pass in here. I'm just gonna punt on this for a second. Fix that after. Um, push cell. I'm just gonna pass in T for now. Okay, so that's better. Something stupid happening. No, okay. Okay, we're back into something that boots without crashing. Um, the depth index is just complete garbage, wherever that came from. Render glyph. Okay, so we got an out index. It's going to equal that. Okay, yeah, right. That's if it's already cached. If it's not already cached, it needs to be inserted. Um, Actually, for now, what we're going to do is just do this. It's actually correctly cached. Cool. Why is that just like completely? Oh, probably because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to fix that. Um, okay, let's do this separately. So yeah, we've done something different here now. What we're gonna get is this dot A potentially, unless it's backwards. So it's gonna make this one unreadable, this one worse. Um, I'm gonna take a break and get some more coffee, and then we'll come back to this. So let's just do this. Set RNU 0, set show EOF 0, set SP 0, set CC 0. Okay, so I will be right back. When we get back, we'll fix whatever the heck's going on here. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is bust out RenderDoc and see what exactly that texture looks like now in the new version. So oh, sorry, that was my bad. That was me. So sorry, what I was just saying is that um, the font should be in the. I'm trying to move the font data to the alpha channel. Like I'm repacking it into the alpha because like normally when it's just grayscale, it just ends up in the red channel. But if we want to support color fonts, it needs to be in. It needs to not be in the red channel, basically. Um, so I'm not seeing it in any of the slices here. It should be off the end, so like it should be in one of these slices where we're seeing glyphs, but I don't see it anywhere in here. So what I'm going to do is, and actually we can even try. We can go into one of these and go into the uniform buffer thing and just look. Actually, all these are going to be 0 except for like this first one. So I want to go to this one specifically. Oh, actually, it's saying it's an 86. Okay, so maybe I'm not looking at the right ones. So we go to slice 86. Yeah, like so emojis, for instance, are colored. Is there any data in this at 86? No, there is. Okay, so it's in the red channel still, and it's wrong, obviously. So yeah, that just means that the copying it to the thing is wrong. So let us run this so we can get the stuff here. We go into here and we set a breakpoint in here. And we step into this, step over this. So we get some pointer, we get some, I want to see, oops, I did not want to do that. Just continue, we'll come here again anyways. Pixel. Like the alpha does get set to the correct things. It's just this RGBA bitmap is probably not what we want. I is 1. Let's go to Glyph size. Oops. Five by 20. So dang. So max font size because it's like textual. This is like a little bit annoying to read because yeah. Okay. So it should be 128 anyway. So is that correct? We want to basically go along each row and we want to have a stride of 128 for the width. So every time we go down one, we need to multiply by this max font thing. So like this should be just correct. I don't know why it's ending up in like the wrong channel though for here. There's like two problems. Like it's in the wrong channel and it looks like this. Oh, you know what? Like, okay, so it being in the wrong channel is one thing that I should fix, but this here, what this is telling me is that actually we shouldn't be storing that stride at all. we shouldn't be caring about the stride. I think OpenGL would handle that for us. So unless we want to tell it to upload the full thing each time, which actually might be smart because then you don't have to do the clear. Yeah, let's try doing that first. Close this. So okay, so here what we're gonna do is update font texture. So we're not going to do this. We're going to do the full max font size. Max font size. Get GPU glyph index. So this is not going to be necessary. We're going to do this. Yeah, that looks correct. So we're going to grab this over here. Okay, so now if we run this, we should get that. So we're back to that, which basically means that the yeah, so it's still in the red channel, which is kind of annoying. I'm just gonna not deal with that right now. I'm gonna leave a comment to fix it after. It's basically because of the order I stored the colors in my. Because you can't. So sorry. The first thing is you can't actually tell OpenGL. I think I could be wrong about this, and maybe I should just check quickly if there's a type that allows you to do like BGRA. Sorry, it should be ABGR is the type I'm thinking of. GLABGR. Image format. Let's just try. Probably not even going to compile for what I'm guessing. Yeah. ABGR. I don't think it is. I think it's just BGR without alpha. I don't think you can do ABGR on texture upload. So you can like text. There's like this swizzling. Let me just see here. OpenGL upload ABGR data. There's an extension, yeah. I'd like to not use the extension, to be honest, but like I should just really fix the color layout that I'm using. You can use GL Pixel Store. Yeah, actually, I'd be interested to see that for sure. Yeah, you post a link if you want. Um, yeah, that sounds interesting, actually. Yeah, for sure. I think you can do like, uh, let me see. So, am I actually already using? I think I am, right? What's it called? GL Pixel Store. Yeah, I am. So in main.c, GL Pixel Store. So to do this, you need to do now which texture? Let me see here. Yeah, I'll have a look at that. I'll have a look at that later. Yeah, for sure. It seems good. Um, you can use like so. I just need to remember how this Pixel Store works. I think it. I don't want to like. Well, let me think actually. Yeah, no, I don't want to. I don't want to like set for the whole thing because if I upload other textures, I don't want it swapped. So I'm gonna grab this. And when we're just doing update font textures, we're gonna do a GL Pixel Store I. Um, unpack swap bytes. And when we're done with that, we're gonna set it back to 0. And then down here again, I need to clean this up, but set GPU glyph thingy. So this, if we do this, we shouldn't see anything. Why are we seeing something? Oh, I didn't rebuild. That would help. No, I did rebuild. Unpack swap bytes. I think this is correct. The order in client memory is ABGR. We use the format RGBA. Swap bytes should be false. But that doesn't make sense. Why would this be set by default? Why can I still see this when that doesn't even make sense? Okay, I don't know. That doesn't seem to do what I want it to do right now. And I don't really want to debug that. So I want to write the caching code. So I will punt on this. Pixel. Byte order of color should be swapped to match GL RGBA. We're gonna store this in here so that I can fix the shader. So that's what I would expect. Then if we leave that open and we go and open the shader, which is gonna make the rest of this unusable, but it's okay. Fragment render. So now this one is completely garbage and the other one is fine. So we're gonna close this. And we're gonna build a new one. It's not gonna crash if I break something when I'm programming. So we're gonna cp-f that to my local Hi, welcome to the stream, Lay Huntress. I'm employed as a master's of science student, doing like ultrasound, well, biomedical ultrasound research. So yes and no, I guess, is how I would put that. I get paid, so I guess I'm employed, but so we're gonna close, we're gonna open this, close this, close this. So right now, all of what I'm doing here is just hobby. Oops, I need to do that. Let's set this back to 1 for now. Well, it's going pretty good. We haven't quite gotten to where I want it to be yet, but we've done like a lot of restructuring to try and get this into a more usable format. So what we want to do now is actually have render glyph do the glyph lookup. Let me just do let me just check here. Is there some other stuff I should fix first? Probably not. So I should actually just make a checkpoint though, so that I don't. What am I doing? I'm gonna run this from here. So hot reloads. We should make a checkpoint so that I don't have to. So if I screw something up, I can go back. So let's do that. Okay, so it's like too many changes going on all over the place here. We're gonna add util.h. We're gonna add font.c. Which kind of things are you talking about specifically? Fragment render. Yeah, we want that one. And the vertex render, because we switched that size. I think we want all of this. Yeah, I should go and fix those functions, but I'll do that later. I don't really care about those right now. Samples of what? Like I'm confused. I'm not using Discord. I don't have a like I don't really use Discord that much. Okay, so yeah, let's just add this. This is fine, all of this. Like, what are you talking about specifically, though? I don't understand. Like, you can help me with which part? So, okay, so this stuff is not committed. So we're gonna take this as start restructuring. Actually, restructure. Rework glyph rendering to allow for hash insertion. Sure. Name's good as any. Commit message is as good as any. Okay, so now we're gonna go back into here. I'm not really like working on animating anything though, right? Like we're drawing a terminal emulator here. Okay, so what we want to do now is rework this cache. So for the we need to include somehow of knowing which the last glyph was. Like which glyphs are the hot glyphs. So let's take a look at what we did here. So we had this glyph cache in the font atlas. We have this glyph cache in the font atlas, and this glyph cache is the size of that thing. We just need to have like some sort of way of indexing into this glyph cache that tells us what the last in yeah, so okay, right. So what we want to do here is actually make this glyph cache a little bigger. I actually do want to have this cached glyph thing come back. Type def struct cached glyph. This is going to have a glyph in it, and then it's also going to have I don't really want to use pointers. I want it to be like indexes into this. So let's do it this way. We're going to have we're going to make this take up only those 4 bytes for now. And they can be signed. Are they going to be signed or are they going to be absolute? Let's make them absolute for now. So we're going to have an index here. It's going to be so we're going to have 2 indices. We're going to have a previous indice and next indice. Yeah, I don't think we're interested if you're you're like welcome to continue chatting in the stream, but if you're gonna like keep advertising something, I'm gonna have to kick you out. Um, okay, so we're gonna store indices into the glyph table of the next and previous most recently used elements. So we need to figure out a way of just getting to the finding the one that we care about fast. So let me think here. So we're gonna do like a hash thing probably. But the problem is then we're just gonna have some collisions. And how are we gonna deal with the collisions is the question. So will this just support chaining? I feel like it could support chaining if we like if we structured it a certain way. But do we want it to support chaining is a different question. Um, let's start just by crashing everything by building this. G. That's what we need to do for that one. Glyphcache.g, glyphcache.g. Oops. I'll say that's correct. We don't have like 16-bit integer type. Glyphcache.g equals that. Okay, so that is a result that I was not actually expecting at all. Not 5-minute break anymore. I don't know why that happened. But anyways. What? What did I break? Thought we already had like a proper. No, of course I did this. So here, yeah, I probably should not be using types here, but that's how it's done. So that is how it will continue to be done for now. Um, so So let me think here. What we want to do is have like just a little bit of a integer hashing function. Um, think what we're going to do is we're going to have we're just going to make collisions. We're going to make collisions just replace the thing that it's colliding with for now. We'll think about if we want to do this a different way after. Actually, that's a problem though. That wouldn't work very well. We need to also be able to find the least recent. Oh no, we don't. Sorry, we don't need to be able to. Oh, we do. No, we do. We have to keep track of who the least recently used thing was. Okay. So let's go to our font atlas here, and we have to think about this a little bit more in depth. Glyph cache. This is going to contain this stuff. It is also going to contain let's do this. Our least recently used index. Because we can just update that when we go into the thing. I think. Maybe we can't. Yes, that is right. So we want to support any arbitrary Unicode, but we also just want to cache like maybe 512 characters, so that we don't have to call like the font library all the time. Because the font library is slow. Glyph cache. This is gonna be a little bit of a mess again, but that's okay. So most recently used index as well. Let's just store these for now. Let us say that we have a. Let's use a 64-bit integer for this. So we're gonna say u32 hash is gonna be equal to code point times some random some random, what's it called? A prime number. So I'm gonna use one that I'd open somewhere here. I think it's like 19 ones in a row is like a one possible prime number. Yeah, so we're gonna do this. So there's our hash, and then we're gonna do we're gonna shift this down by 32. We're gonna use like the top half because we're multiplying by like some giant number. And then we're going to end with this is actually going to store a 32-bit hash, but we're going to do this in 64-bit land. FA to Glyph hash dot. Do I need to store this? Is a good question. Probably not. I don't know. It's just we're storing like this len here, but maybe we're not going to store the len. It's just, yeah, let's do it that way. Let's not store the len. We're going to do okay. So we're gonna have a found define glyph cache len push buffer. What's it called? Push buffer capacity. We're no longer going to have that. We're gonna say that the the only problem is that we need to determine if this is the same glyph or not, if there was a collision, which kind of means that these glyphs need to store like the code point with them, which is kind of eh. Where's the glyph defined? I don't know why it's like way up here in some random location. Actually, this probably doesn't need to store this. The hash glyph can have that. To determine if that's a collision. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get the glyph. Let's do it this way. The hash glyph it's gonna be equal to P to FA. Or no, sorry, just FA to glyph cache. dot glyphs plus we're going to do this, and then we're going to say let's just put this let's do it this way, because this will actually tell us. We can kind of figure out where the problem is. So let's put a thing here, collision count, because we want to be able to just measure this at some point and see if that's bad or good. If g to code point equals code point, that's good. Else, so out glyph outglyph will equal g to g. Sure. Let's call this CG. Well, out IDEX is always going to just equal the IDEX, so that's okay. We'll do that for now. So that's good. Else, if CP, so if it's 0, well, you shouldn't be passing in 0 code point, to be honest. So yeah, so if G to CP does not equal 0, because that one can be 0 when you're initializing, CG to collision count plus plus and we're gonna have to update this guy, so that's okay. So then whatever. So leave that like that. Okay, then we're gonna render the glyph. And then like the rest of this I think is actually just fine. We just need to make sure that the to do better hash function for the Handmade Hero fans. Okay, so this should be fine. So then we're gonna go in and we're gonna render the new one. We have to update like these indices, so we know who to affect. Right. Okay. So sorry. This right now is not doing like the least recently used thing. This is not how you would do that. This is doing the just hash table. Let's start by let's pause and just start by doing the hash table first, and then we'll go in and modify the hash table to do the least recently used part. Because this will already give us the Unicode support. Okay, so post code point, we have to update that. Then we need to do this. We're gonna render it. We're gonna get the glyph thing. We're gonna go into here. We're gonna update the cached glyph CG to g.size blah blah blah. CG to g.size that. CG. Okay. Okay, this should all be good. Out glyph is going to equal CG to G. And we're going to return that RGBA bitmap so that it can get uploaded. That's looking fine to me. Now this update font metrics. Index. Yeah, so, okay. Index dot glyphs. No, we don't need to do that here anymore. Never mind. That's not necessary. Just gonna grab this one. Probably I did this wrong up here as well. Maybe not. No, I didn't. Okay, so let's see where we're at. U32, U64. Let's put this out here. Glyph cache. Glyphs. Glyph cache len. So this is going to be nothing. Glyphs. Glyph cache len. Okay, so I don't know why that didn't crash, to be honest, but so now theoretically we've got this. Now let's do get GPU glyph index. So here we don't need to assert that anymore. We don't need this to do here. Hey Keswick, how are you? Welcome to the stream. The programming is going good. We potentially have the glyph cache, basic glyph cache working, not the least recently used one, but I think when I am putting stuff in the, probably that is happening in the terminal. I think I'm like not putting the correct characters in the cells. Yeah, that'd be right here. We don't need to worry about that anymore. I have to look around for other versions of that. Actually, I don't know if you can see. So yeah, so this character here, right here, is a Unicode character that wasn't being rendered before because we didn't have support for it, and now there we go. Showing up. So let us look around at these clamps. Make sure that we don't have any more of these weird ones. So there's one here that needs to be fixed. I think that's the only one. 259. Oh, obviously that's in a commented out code right now. Don't do this clamping, probably. The rest of those look fine. So let us take the win for this. Check asserts. So if there's any other places where we're checking the code point via an assert, it's wrong. These are all fine. Yeah, there's another one. I'll be right back. Okay, so this one in VTGL 191. That's another commented outline that I don't care about. Okay, so probably take the win. So what I want to do is also just write a little function that's going to dump this somewhere. Like an extra space there. Okay, so font.c, we're going to quickly add that. Looks good to me. What is this? And util.h, which would be good. So get CV. Unicode rendering. So we want to, yeah, okay. So, okay, we're going to save that because that's a good point. Now we're going to go into here again. So I want to check a couple things. Oops, I don't have. Okay, yeah, so there's actually, this font doesn't have this character. So this is like the first problem we're going to have. But that's okay. We're getting somewhere anyways. I prefer that to like the squiggle because the squiggle doesn't really tell you much of anything. That's like the only place where those characters are printed. So to do that, we have to do we're gonna have to do a proper font config thing. I think I'm gonna not do at the moment. I want to do like the proper least recently used thing here. So what we want to do, so basically there's a problem here. Like if we want this lookup to be fast, we don't want to have to walk through the entire table every time to find the glyph that we're interested in. We want a quick way of jumping into the center of the table, um, and then storing like the indices. And so that's why we're doing this hash. But if this collides, we can't just assume that we can just replace the character. That's like wrong. We actually need to we do need to do like some amount of chaining, which isn't so bad to do, but it's probably still not going to be the best way of doing this, but we'll see. Next with same hash. Um, so to be able to do this though, we have to go and find the next character next slot that's not occupied. And the way we just do that is going to be a little weird. So first of all, up here, we're going to do something called, first of all, we need to update that. So we're going to say glyph cache dot most recently used index. We're gonna grab that. We're gonna say, oops. This is now equal to index. Then we're gonna say glyphs last MRU previous is going to equal index. Okay, so this part is fine, but okay, right. Um, so this is going to start a chain. This will start chaining things together. So what we might want to do is actually have this glyph cache store a table, like a hash map table. So if this glyph cache stores a hash map table, it's going to be like a code point to glyph cache index. It's not going to be that much different than what we have here, but hmm. What I want to do is add like a function, I think, that loops, that does some sort of looking through this table. This is a difficult one to solve. So, I like that next with same hash thing. Let me think. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is we're trying to say we want to look into the table, and when there's a collision, we want to go to the least recently used index and evict that one and use that index instead. Now, so how do we get to that? Where do we update what the last recently used was? We have to maintain like this chain. So what we will be doing is saying that the cached glyph to next is going to equal the last MRU. So this really, we don't even need this variable. Okay, so this will give us a chain. We want to do this actually after the chain, after we do this check. Update the chain. So when there's a collision, we want to be able to grab this LRU index from the table and use that, evict that one somehow. But we have to be able to say that then the next time when we go to get the glyph and there's a collision, we have to be able to somehow get to this index without without using the table. So that's a little weird. So in here, we have to evict the least recently used glyph. So we can get that index somehow. If we get that index, it's easy, but getting that index is where the problem's going to come from, I think. Open debug.c. I want to add like a function that's going to be like dump glyph cache to file. We're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take T, take a font atlas even. Let's do this. We're going to do for glyph cache dot most recently used index. I is not equal to 0. FA to glyph cache dot glyphs I next. And then what we're going to do is we are going to delete this junk. Well, no, we're going to, okay, yeah, we're going to delete this junk. We're going to do a little bit of a printf f sent U index to here. We're going to do this. We're going to print the index. I'm just going to walk down the chain. Let's do it this way. So f puts chain collisions do something piggy here. We're gonna do if dash glyph cg fa to glyph cache dot glyphs plus I if cg to collision count slash n cg to collision count okay f close we're going to open ptgl.c and we're going to go to the character callback, the key callback. And we're going to have f3 for now. Dump glyph cache to file. What happened? Probably I did a dump in here somewhere. Well, there's no, yeah. Okay. So now we can do an F3 and we can open the fa.text. Right, the chain isn't right, but 142 is collided 6 times apparently. Which is a problem. That's like way too many. So to get this to work, we're just gonna do this to invalidate it, and then we'll dump it again. Hello. Did a dump to kill it. Probably still something dumb going on there because I had to have this open. No, okay, that's fine. Yeah, this is just gonna be garbage because I didn't garbage laggy because I didn't do this properly. Um, right. Just for now, because I need to fix it. We're gonna change this to do a little bit different here. We're gonna do uh because I for some reason that chain just never gets terminated. It's because when we evict a thing, we have to set its thing to 0. That would make sense. Set the previous to last be 0. Yeah, anyways. I wanted to type. Okay, so if we open that text now, we see this chain just goes on and on. It's like looping. It's probably not correct. Um, Probably we're getting the same index multiple times, right? $472. Yeah, so we get like the same index in here like a bunch of times. 472. Does it always point to the same thing? 45, 45, 45, 45. So actually one way of doing this is to say um, oops. Right, so we'll do this, and we'll do uh, why did that lock up again? I don't get it. I don't know how that happened. Oh, this, please. This does not like the long lines. Okay. I think I'm probably gonna pause for now, but let's just see here. Yeah, this isn't gonna, okay, so that doesn't really do what I want it to do. Let's do this again just to make sure it exits. Okay. So this will give us a chain. We never get like I have to think about this, I think, and come back to it after a little break. Because we're getting there. We've got some Unicode content now, but we don't have all of the Unicode content. We don't have the LRU thing working. So, yeah, I'm gonna think about this more, and I'll come back later. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Keswick. I'd be happy to see you again. Um, yeah, so because my brain just needs a little bit of a break before I think about this LRU stuff anymore. Um, but we're making good progress. We got this character wasn't even rendering to begin with, so we can now render like random Unicode if the font contains it. Um, so let's have a look here. I guess we can go back to doing that. So I'll probably fix those quickly. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will come back later this afternoon, in a couple hours probably, and we will figure out the LRU stuff. So, thanks. See you all later.